Brittany is busted at this Valley reunion. Even though she's trying to seem neutral, she's very clearly participating in Janet's narrative about Danny behind the scenes. Whatever Brittany said happened with Danny at her birthday gave Janet the confidence to say,
he's been inappropriate and made women uncomfortable multiple times since, as recently as the Super Bowl.
Side note, Brittany's birthday is January 25th, and that kind of aligns with like Super Bowl. But Brittany wasn't even going to back Janet. At that reunion, Janet had to force Brittany. But then immediately Brittany backtracks it and like downplays it. And she's like, well, you weren't touching me or nothing, but, you know, just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Stand in it, Britt. If you think he was being weird and making you uncomfortable, stand in it. Don't go just talking to Janet about it. And then when you get in the group setting, leave Janet hanging out to dry when you are participating. Janet thinks that she is like fighting a crusade on behalf of all women in the group. But that's clearly because Brittany's feeding into that. So, all right, part 3. And then this season of The Valley is done. And I wonder if they are going to bring it back. I really do. There was a scathing Time magazine review. I didn't read the whole thing. I just saw something like this was a misstep, basically, like cancel it. So I don't know. But all right, let's get this thing. Let's bring it home. All right. Before I do that, make sure you're subscribed and following the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and comment. Okay, let's do it. Dude, Andy outright asks Danny if he has a drinking problem. I was like, Jason, of course, says he can't believe Danny won't admit he has a problem. When, I'm so sorry, remember when Jax came back from a rehab and was like, drinking's not my problem. Anger's my problem. Drinking's not my problem. And then got wasted at the finale? I know Jason might justify it by being like, well, you know, he's sober now. I'm putting that in quotes. Sure. But like the energy he has for Danny, it truly feels like misdirection. Like it feels like maybe not wants. A lot of theories that Jax has something on Jason. That kind of makes Jason sound cooler than he is. I don't think that Jason has anything like interesting about him, which is honestly more of an insult than if there was something on him. But like, anyway, Jason then says a very declarative statement that offends a few people. He says, I think everyone on this stage has issues with alcohol and drugs. Jax goes like, what? Which I thought was very funny. Because if anyone should be having no reaction to that and being like, yeah, basically, should be someone who's admitted, supposedly, that they have a problem. You know, like Jax should have been like, it's true. We do. And then as I looked around the room, Kristen was like, you can't say that. And I'm like, okay, Kristen's pregnant. So maybe not right now. You don't have a drinking problem. But Brittany, you definitely, and Zach for sure. Jasmine's been wasted too. Like all of you can just sort of be like, oh yeah, all of us drink too much. I don't know. Jesse has a drinking problem. I'll tell you that much. Is this I don't know if this is just a Peacock part. I got really confused with my notes, which one was a Peacock exclusive or not. But Jason says, you know what I would consider a drinking problem if there was an entire storyline on a TV show about it. Fuck you. You made it a freaking storyline. And then Danny goes, that's why I didn't drink for half the shooting, which is, it goes back to what I said a couple weeks ago. I think maybe the finale or maybe, whatever. When Danny was not drinking during filming, to me, that was like, well, he took some action. He heard everyone saying that when he's drinking, it's a problem. So he then didn't drink, which is way more than literally anyone can say. Because the amount of, look at Kyle on Summer House. The amount of times his drinking is a problem and he just continues to drink. Like he edited. Danny edited. So that does say something, Jason. All right. Jason has to be told to apologize for calling Danny a clown. He's like, all right, I'm sorry about that. He looked like a brat though when he did it, didn't he? He looked like such a brat. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry about the clown comment. Because at first he was like, look at him. Then they talk about the ring rumor. I'm sorry. The takeaway from this whole segment for me was that Andy Cohen himself couldn't wait to make fun of them for going and getting the ring tattoos. Andy goes, I'm sorry, this is just the shadiest way to present something. I was so surprised weeks after I thought this had been put to bed by seeing you and Jason going to get the ring tattoos to debunk a rumor that you said you didn't even care about. Read. And Janet goes, it was not necessarily to debunk. It was also like, once this is out, it feels like a can of worms. You can't put it back. And it was like, I've been telling Jason, Jason never had a tattoo before and I wanted him to get one. So it felt like a fun excuse to make light of it. Oh, was that what you were doing? I can't say everything that I know from my own insider person in this group of people. But I know for a fact that Janet and Jason did not think that was a fun, lighthearted thing to do. Him getting the ring tattoo was actually a big fucking deal. I know that. And then she goes, and I've always kind of wanted a wedding band tattoo. I thought it was cool. And so we had a day of it. Andy's like, I don't like that. I don't like anything you just said. I don't like it at all. Andy asked Zach why he said that it was funny. Jansen, I'm going to call them Jansen, Janet and Jason. I don't want to keep saying the full thing. It was funny when Jansen weren't mad at the shark party, but then brought it up later. Zach shamelessly says, I think they were like, oh, well, I guess this is our storyline. And I think they went home and thought about it. Then Janet, because she can't figure out what she wants to say here. She can't figure out like what is she kind of was like, I think thinking that maybe Andy was going to be like, how could Kristen start that rumor about the ring thing or Jasmine, whoever you wanted to blame? How could that have happened? But no, they were like, this is ridiculous. Kristen herself was like, I just said it to be messy, to let you guys know how it feels to have shit brought up on camera that like doesn't need to be brought up on camera. All right. But it went right over their heads. So Janet goes, at first it's like, excuse me, I'm laughing this off because I know it's not true, but it also made me realize, oh, our friendship is not getting to a better place. That's not going to help us get to a peaceful place this summer. And I was bummed about that. Okay. That was an interesting twist. I feel like you just spun that a little bit. And then she goes, and also it was a joke that Jason and I have a pretty calm, boring marriage in that sense. And then Kristen interrupts and goes, so now you're relevant. I think Andy is trying to make a joke here to kind of like test Janet's act that she's putting on. And he goes, do you owe Kristen an apology for making you relevant? And she's like, I mean, this is going to be out there publicly. People are going to be questioning his character. You have to own up to that. So which is it? That this wasn't a big deal and you guys are just making light of it because it's not true? Or is it this? Janet. All right. For some reason, so Kristen says people don't care. The only people that perpetuated this the whole summer long was you. But Luke chiming in here, it like hits hard for some reason. For some reason, him going, he can't keep it in. He's like, no one talked about it but you two. It just felt so like authentic, like from the soul. He's like, God, I can't. I'm trying to keep it quiet over here, but like, come on, guys, please, Jesus. Then Kristen says, I don't mean this in an asshole way, but it's literally you're not important enough for the fans to care that much about. I don't know how you could mean that not in an asshole way. Not that I don't support it completely 100%. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but like, no one cares about you that much. You guys are not that important. Okay. Now this next part, I can't tell if this is a Peacock only thing or not. But Kristen's saying, I told you guys at the shark party that I only said it because you hurt my friends. And Jason rolls his eyes and is like, hurt your friends. How did we hurt your friends? Like, what is that? Dude, remember that lunch when you went out with Danny and we were like, you're fucking alcoholic, dude. Remember that? Danny laughs at that part and Janet under her breath goes, of course the ass grabber is laughing. Okay. Wow. I also love when Kristen's like, I don't have a reputation of making things up or being a liar. I have a reputation for uncovering the truth and not exaggerating, also inserting myself in places that are not my business. Funny. I mean, I feel like she is known for exaggerating. I feel like that's accurate. I feel like Kristen actually speaks a lot. Remember last season? Words are hard. Like when she said the whole has a boyfriend for a year, or what was it? Jesse's going to divorce Michelle, or what? Like she doesn't get the words right, So yeah, I wouldn't say you're known for the accuracy necessarily, but I love it. Not Jason asking Jasmine if she was manipulated this season at all. Do you think you were manipulated like I'm doing right now? Like I'm coaxing you to the answer I want you to give me by Kristen? Manipulated by Kristen? No? All right. Oh my God. At one point, Luke shushes Kristen when it's like the Jasmine Janet segment. And I feared for his life. He like shushed her and she's like, did you just shush me? And I was like, run. Luke, run. You're not going to make it. But anyway, Jasmine and Janet get into their friendship demise and they cry. And Jasmine goes, Melissa was like, see, there's still love there. And Kristen couldn't help herself. She goes, there's love, but there's still shit talking. Come on, we're in a group chat. Jasmine says that there were little things that piled up, and Kristen again cuts to the chase. She goes, she stopped acting like herself. So this is the whole narrative that Janet is different on camera. And Janet obviously does not take that on, that she changed for the cameras. But it seems to be the consensus for like everyone else too. Obviously not like maybe Brittany or Michelle, but I feel like pretty much everyone else is like, kind of, yeah, like you have. Okay, they move back over to Jax. I got weirded out by this part because at one point it's clear that Jax won't even listen when Zach is talking. And so Zach kind of goes on and on about how like they all were close and he was close with Jax and misses their friendship. I was like, what? Jax is just a nasty piece of shit to Zach, though. Now he's like, you're nothing to me. You're nobody. Ugh, fuck you. But Andy calls Jax out for Frank Dremen, and Jax doesn't watch the damn show, so he doesn't even know what was exposed, and he doesn't know that the comments that he left on posts were exposed. So we're talking Frank Dremen wrote, he is a legend. He wrote, what's it like to be perfect? He is the show, hands down. And show me a man in this world that wouldn't get mad at something like this. It's funny. I remember that comment, the third one I just read. I remember that comment. I remember reading it. I don't remember what post it was, but I remember going, who the fuck would write that? And it was Jax. It was Jax. I think the hardest thing about starting a business, like I have this podcast, which is, I guess, a business, is starting. That's the hardest part. In the beginning, it feels like every step you're taking is probably wrong. So finding tools that help can save you so much time. I have actually turned to Shopify for 2 different business ventures. One, when I wanted to be a drop shipper, I thought, and then this podcast for a merch store. But also like huge companies use Shopify, like Alo Yoga or Sephora. Shopify has all of these templates because who can design a website? And you can customize the templates to make them match your brand style. And I think you guys know by now I'm very picky about my branding. Shopify even has AI tools that will help enhance product images or even write product descriptions? Or what about generating discount codes? Huh? Yeah, they think of everything for you. And we know it's all about marketing, baby. Shopify helps you easily create email and social media campaigns to push wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And all that super overwhelming stuff like managing inventory or international shipping, Shopify is like your commerce expert with that stuff. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/she-speaks. Go to shopify.com/she-speaks. Shopify.com/she-speaks. Jack saying it's my show and hearing that he actually was like claiming he was going to fire everybody. And he's like, I don't have that kind of power. And they're like, yeah, we know. It kind of makes him getting kicked off the show even better. Like going back and really hearing how many times he said it's my show and then knowing that behind the scenes even he was pulling shit like that. And so now you're not coming back. No, I'm going to assume they are coming back for a season 3 because if they're going to fire Jax, then like they must have a show to even fire him from, right? So, but it just really, it's a nice end to know that, okay, good. He's not coming back. They do a long Kristen and Luke segment, quite a long one, which is great. Love it for Kristen. Love that they gave it to her. But Andy asks Kristen about the fan comment that she made about Janet. And Kristen says, when she saw how Janet changed on season 1, like with her ex Alex, when her ex Alex came in, it was like she got an alter ego for the cameras. And Janet's like, I'm sorry, we were bad for a whole year. So why are you surprised that I have these thoughts? Kristen really is someone, though, who I don't know if Kristen would know how much she's disliked by a friend unless they really fucking told it to her. And even then, I feel like she'd be like, what are you talking about? Because Kristen has had so many fallouts with friends and like just forgives and keeps moving on and like whatever. But it is interesting that like Kristen was surprised by what Janet had to say. And Janet was speaking very confidently about Kristen's relationship. She was just first season, she was like, Kristen was the mess. Kristen knows it. So seeing her be like, oh, fuck Alex, he's such a bad guy. Like, please. And Kristen was like, wait, you think that? So I'm going to put it on Janet, though, because maybe Kristen didn't even realize, like, that's why there was a break between them. But I do think that Kristen is someone that has to, like, really, like, I don't think she will get it she's had enough dysfunctional friendships that she's just like, anyway, I'll just keep it. You know what I'm saying? But I do also think that Janet definitely changed. Like, Janet wants to be a celebrity for sure. Excuse me. Danny and Nia both agree that Janet changed on camera. And Jason goes, we didn't even know you before filming. And they're like, what? You came over, met our daughters, right? That's what they said. You met our kids. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I mean, maybe. Like, we didn't really know you. They're like, okay, but we liked you guys. Like, we saw you out and about all the time. They're like, yeah, but like, I mean, we didn't even know you. Okay, so things that people didn't know. Cool. All right. Janet, I don't think people know what you're thinking as much as you assume they do. Because first you got Kristen shocked by what you said about her and Alex. And then you got Danny and Nia like, wait, we thought we liked you guys. Now let's get into the sexually assaulted segment, because I do also think Andy here was like ready to pounce on Janet for this one too. Okay, so Janet, once again, she can't stand in what she wants to stand in. She has to sort of like dance around it. So she goes, the reason I said what I said about the sexually assaulted thing is because you, Kristen, were saying I'm attacking them. And you know what? I'm not attacking somebody. This guy did something horrible, and I think we have to address that. So I thought it was serious. She thought it was serious, and I used the legal term for the definition of what he did. Now, we've already heard from the Bravo docket, those smart lawyers over there. And they really debunked this whole accusation that like it's a textbook sexual assault situation. If you didn't see that, whatever, I did it at the very beginning of one of these recaps. I can't remember which one, but I definitely discussed that already. So Andy, but then I'm telling you, Andy, he was ready. He goes, so touching someone's butt is sexual assault? And Janet says, yeah, by definition. And then Jason goes, battery. And Danny, well, I'm sorry, wait, what? Now it's battery. Well, which one is it? Jesus Christ, you guys. So then Danny goes, saying those words are very, very powerful. And Janet goes, okay, well, don't do the things that classify as a definition of it. Girl. This argument Janet keeps making, when I'm being told I was attacking you guys, I'm going to respond because you did something wrong. It's just bullshit. Like, don't tell me I'm attacking them when I'm just bringing up what they've done. I mean, no, that's not, no. I was going to say, maybe she has a point. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. But then Janet pulls Jasmine in because Jasmine's also busted. Jasmine's also feeding into the narrative too. And now she's like kind of trying to backtrack, but she hasn't she hasn't talked. They don't really talk, Janet and Jasmine. They haven't spoken in a while. But she pulls Jasmine in because they had a whole conversation about what happened right when it first happened. And Janet says, I said to her when she said he was grabbing this person's ass, Melissa's ass, her thighs, making sexually explicit comments, call me daddy. I said, you know what? That's sexual assault. And she said, yes. And it's not fair. This happens all the time to women. And none of these guys, actually, I think, Jasmine, what you did say was none of these idiot men, I think you said that, ever have to face consequences for it. Okay, again, this clearly was back when it first happened. Now a lot has changed, right? And Jasmine should still be like your cue here on how to handle it. But so you're bypassing Jasmine now and just repeating the same thing. I can't. I'm sorry, girl. I can't do this again. Andy asks Jason, the attorney, is it potentially defamatory? Like if she had pressed charges for touching the ass. Jason is so stumped here. He's like, I mean, I doubt like the DA would pick it up. Like that's not a lot of damage. I mean, it's like it's a bad thing that happened, but like it's not, he's not going to go do jail time. So Andy goes, so then why use the term? And then Janet, when she says, you know what? I'll never use the term again.
You know what? I'll never use the term again.
Oh. Andy gives the floor over to Nia, and as she's talking, Janet is giving her the most condescending face, like a little smirky face. And Kristen goes, don't smirk. Listen to her talk. She listens to you talk. And Janet's like, ugh. And then so Nia goes, you keep saying this happened multiple times, which is not true. And I need you to be more intentional with your words because it's not okay to put things out there that have not happened. Long pause. Janet goes, okay. Ooh. And then Danny goes, you know that those words can ruin. And Janet goes, yeah, there's a lot of words that have been dropped among this cast that can ruin people. You called Michelle a whore on camera. Now, I feel like I knew this was coming. I saw somewhere online that it was actually Danny's fault that this came out on camera because maybe it was on Brittany's podcast, actually. But like Jesse might have put it in the boys' chat, but like Danny brought it up on camera. I just don't get how they're trying to like make it seem like Danny was accusing her of that without. Danny said Jesse said this. It wasn't like Danny was like, and so apparently she's a hooker. Like he was like, Jesse's writing shit in the boys' chat about Michelle. I mean, maybe I have to rewatch it, but like, I don't know. Was he being messy? What? I don't know, but Michelle agrees. Michelle. Oh, wait, hold on though. What I loved Mr. Lawyer over here, because they're like, he didn't say that. He said that, she's what Jesse said. She's sleeping with men for money. And Jason goes, are we not allowed to paraphrase? No, not when it's like this. Okay? Not anymore. You're not paraphrasing privileges out with you two. But Michelle's like, yeah, no, this ruined my reputation. Now people are going to look this up. And I guess, yeah, because I guess Jesse wasn't planning on bringing it up on camera. I guess it was just bad enough that he sent it to the boys' chat. All right, this last segment is about the finale. There's just a couple, whatever. Anything with Jackson, just like skip it, don't care. But he denies that he sleeps with his staff. And Luke is actually like, well, you brought a lady into a bar I was at one time. And he's like, what I do? What? I did what? What was that? What? Who was that? What? Yeah, that's right. But okay, the big story here is apparently Jesse's girlfriend showed up to Yamashiro and it turned into a whole thing. And this is another thing. When Andy got to this note card, he was like, oh, it's on. Jesse was on Watch What Happens Live being a total prick. I could tell Andy was getting so annoyed with Jesse. And he's like, but I wanted to save this smackdown for when we were all together to maximize the embarrassment for him. And it was glorious. Because he kind of coaxes things that, like, he knows where it's going. He's like, he tries to ask Michelle about it, but like kind of he's like, so after not wanting to be involved in filming, didn't your girlfriend show up to Yamashiro? And you can see Jesse's getting like kind of hot and sweaty. And Michelle doesn't want to talk about it because she's been threatened. And Andy goes, I heard that you had a massive screaming match after cameras went down. And Kristen goes, guys, can we like not do this on season 3? All of this legal stuff. Can we just film a show? And so then Jesse goes, we're actually not going to talk about stuff like that. She's not here to defend herself. And Andy's like, that's all I was waiting for. I was waiting for you to say some bullshit like that. And he goes, I know. She showed up at an all-cast event and made a legal threat. You could tell he's like, and I take that shit personal. We are always getting legal troubles these days. Jesse goes, they picked up cameras and put a boom over our head as soon as she walked in, and Andy cuts his ass off and says, as they should have. They were doing their job. If your girlfriend showed up today, you know what I would do? Stick a mic on her and get her in here. When he said, this is a hot set, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, hot. All right. This is a show called The Valley? That's your girlfriend? I want to talk to her. Bring her out. Let's get her around. And then he waits and goes, you understand? Zach clutches onto Jasmine, and that's exactly the motion I was like, oh my God. Oh, get him. And then, because then Jesse's like, it's like a pause, and he just goes, yeah. Like, you motherfucker, you don't believe anyone can tell you what to do, but guess what? I know you, he thinks he's such a lawyer. He thinks he's such a lawyer and that he knows all the laws. And Andy's like, you want to be on this fucking show? You pull that again? In fact, I bet Andy like scolded him again even later. Was like, if you do that shit again, you're off the show. You understand? And I don't even think Andy's like an executive producer on this. I think this is one of those, it's not his. He just does the reunions because he just does Housewives. But he's like, I have that power. All right, motherfucker. And I bet even Andy's just like, we just hate that. Like, we hate. Like, who shows up? As Michelle said, we were clearly still filming. And they do what if they have the cameras, if they're there still and they have the camera, that's normal. So what the fuck was she doing there? Why didn't you just wait and go meet her after? Because Jesse's like, I was supposed to be at a birthday with her at Chateau. So after she called, was like, hey, is it whatever? I'm like, so then go to the birthday at Chateau. What do you mean? Like, what point does that prove, weirdo? All right. The final thoughts. I really don't need Michelle and Jesse to be forced to say something nice about each other. I really don't. Like, why do we have to do this every time? Also don't need Jax and Brittany to give us the where do we go from here moment. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's like when he did that with Shep and Taylor at the Southern Charm reunion. And I was like, come on. Like, these like standard protocol questions. Like, you just, and Andy has the nerve to go to Brittany. Was tonight a good start for the two of them? No, shut up. No, you know that everything Jax has done here has been performative and all bullshit. So shut up, Andy. All right, get out of here already, dude. Anyways. Okay, well, thank you, The Valley, for traumatizing us for an entire season. Jesus. very glad this season is over and do not have a clue what they're going to do next year. So stay tuned, I guess. All right. Well, I love you guys so much. Mean it. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.